What's up, everybody? This is Henry Fleischer here from the Cannabis Dispatch, also the CBD Business Networking group on Facebook, and I have a very special guest today. I've Ben Pasquel of TerpNutrition. So, Ben, tell us a little bit about TerpNutrition.
Thank you, Henry. I appreciate the introduction. TerpNutrition, we started the company. We actually just hit our 2-year anniversary in April. We are a recovery-based CBD company focusing on full spectrum healing for athletes. So super excited to kind of dive a little bit deeper into TerpNutrition.
Oh, awesome. So it's been 2 years. What was it that triggered you to start like, hey, I want to go into CBD? What was it?
So really the big thing that really got us into CBD and cannabis healing in general, it was probably about 9 years ago that my girlfriend, who's one of the co-founders, Megan Loda, she herniated her L4 and L5 disc and it actually ruptured. And so she got rushed into surgery because she lost a complete feeling on the left side of her body. And at the time she was only 21 years old, you know? Mm-hmm. And so after the surgery, they had multiple doctors. We were living in the DC area, multiple doctors telling us that she was never going to be able to work out again. And hearing that as a 21-year-old, you're like shocked. You can't even believe that, you know? And then the second thing that really kind of shook me was that she was never going to live comfortably again without painkillers. And so she was on a whole huge array of different painkillers, as well as getting weekly, or not weekly, but I think it was monthly epidural shots. And you're only supposed to have so many epidural shots. And so we started doing more and more research because I saw her mental health decline because of these pharmaceuticals that were getting pushed by the healthcare professionals. So I started doing more research into alternative healing. And one thing led to another was we started incorporating CBD to help with some of the anxiety that the pharmaceuticals were dealing with. But then also we started seeing a lot of help in terms of inflammation relief, pain relief. And so we kept doing more and more research in terms of that. And then she completely became I guess what would be the right term? She wasn't dependent on painkillers anymore. She actually completely stepped away from using painkillers and used alternative methods. And I would be lying to you if I was saying it was just CBD, because you need to change your lifestyle, you know? So she started working out more, started eating healthier, started being an aware consumer of the food that she was putting into her body, but CBD helped her get to that point. And so that's when we started realizing that, hey, we need to share this knowledge of how much CBD and cannabis in general can actually impact people's lives in the better. So that's really what kind of drove us to starting TerpNutrition. I could talk forever about it, but I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, got it. And what was the toughest thing you went through when you first opened up TerpNutrition?
The toughest part while starting TerpNutrition, I would say that there are a lot of hurdles being in a industry that is still kind of a gray area. So, for example, one of the simplest things that a lot of people are coming into the industry. I'm part of a lot of these groups, one of the ones you invited me to, but a lot of other ones with different small business owners entering into the CBD space. And one thing that's very, very common is people don't even realize that just the merchant processing, the credit card transactions, there's a lot of hurdles you need to work around with that. There's a lot of traditional bank merchant processors who won't even allow you to process your payments with their services. You have to get specifically okayed to be able to accept payment through a digital form. So that's just one of them. Marketing is also kind of difficult because you can't use traditional ways. We always find different ways around it, though. You have to be ready to pivot as any entrepreneur in an industry that's a gray area, and you have to be able to really execute those pivots.
Yeah, I know too, I know Facebook and Google have restrictions in place, but I've seen some people get around that. They don't, it's obviously hemp, CBD, cannabis is going to trigger it for a suspension, but they said calls it wellness products. Mm-hmm. And the ads still have been performing. But I think too, if I think Facebook and Google, if you send them to a landing page that includes those words, they might pick up on that and suspend it. So you have to make a completely new landing page.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you'll see a lot of companies who are doing this, that they have a completely different landing page that has nothing to do with their business almost, just to get them in this funnel to eventually lead them down to the path of having that. So Facebook and Google somewhat too aren't the most friendly for CBD companies. You have to kind of find those alternative ways to get your business out there.
No, yes, very true. And is there anything you would do differently if you had to start from day one again?
I think everything that I have done, mistake or success, I think it was meant to be the way it's supposed to be, because all of the mistakes is something that taught me a valuable lesson. So I wouldn't say I would go back and do anything per se different. The biggest thing is just keep persistent, create products that you yourself believe in, because we consume these products every single day. Our products have changed the owner's life, me and my girlfriend's life. So we fully stand behind our products 110%.
Oh, got it. And what would you say the toughest part about being in this business in 2021?
I think the toughest part, for us at least specifically, now that things are starting to open up a lot, but with 2020 and kind of the beginning of 2021 too, the limit of doing in-person events. We love doing in-person events because one of our core values is community, and we create a really big community around health and wellness, as well as helping these people learn about how you can incorporate cannabinoids into their recovery regimen. And so not being able to have as much personal connection, having to rely heavily on the digital connections that we're making, which we're doing a phenomenal job. We just want to be able to connect with people more on a one-to-one, face-to-face basis. And luckily, there's a lot of states opening up, and so we already have some scheduled events coming up in the next couple of months. So we're super pumped up just to get back out there and really just start meeting new people.
No, yeah, it's good how we're slowly heading back to normal.
Yeah, little by little. Arizona is pretty opened up though, so can't really complain out here.
No, oh yeah, that's good out there too. You guys got the warm, nice weather out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that if a customer was to choose between your business and 3 others just like yours, why would you suggest they give you a try first?
So we really focus, like I said, on the full spectrum of our products, and specifically our tinctures. These actually are completely different than anything that I've seen on the market. We specifically gear our terpene blends to really drive the effect. So, for example, one of our nightly drops, our products specifically to help more on the relaxing side of things, the terpene profile mimics an indica strain, which if you're familiar with cannabis, it's going to be more on the relaxing, sedative side of things. So that's one reason. We also use a USDA. We actually source from a USDA certified organic hemp farm out in Colorado, and then use an extraction facility that's vertically integrated. So there's a lot of all the room for error pretty much we've eliminated, because we're working with such a tight-knit team that we contract out. So we have some of the highest quality products on the market.
Oh, nice. It's awesome. And what's the number one way you currently bring in new customers?
What was that? Sorry?
What's the number one way you currently bring in new customers?
So like I mentioned earlier, community is huge for us. So we have a massive ambassador program right now that we actually have a variety of certified personal trainers, yoga instructors, chiropractors, doctors, physical therapists, a lot of people who are professionals within their respective health and wellness category. And we have them as ambassadors. And so we have a lot of affiliate marketing style that we really execute well on. So we get a lot of new lead generations from that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what role has the internet played in your business as it becomes more prevalent?
I mean, the internet has saved our business, especially in 2020, because of the fact that we were able to pivot so quickly and really put an emphasis on our online presence. And so we get the majority of our orders and the people that we have been connecting with over the last year has been online. So definitely got to give kudos to the internet. It's helped out a lot.
Oh, nice. And if you had to take a look 6 months to a year down the line, where would you like to see your business?
So I've actually been asked this a few times recently, but the biggest thing that we're focusing on right now in 2021 is getting into more distribution as well as more retail stores. So really expanding the brand on a national level is our hyper focus right now. So we have a lot of things in play that hopefully by the end of 2021, it's going to be solidified and it's going to be awesome for us.
Oh, awesome. Okay, got it. And out of curiosity too, this is a question I ask a lot of people. Which food would you most like to see infused with CBD?
Which food? That's a hard question. I mean, I would say one of my favorite foods that's infused is a fruit snack, which we have vegan fruit snacks, and they're perfectly infused and they taste delicious, and you get a lot of benefits from them as well.
Oh, nice. I think for me, I think I'd like to see something with steak.
That was going to be my second choice, a good steak.
Yeah, it's like if it's like can of butter or whatever, or like oil.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with can of butter. You can throw that in anything, even your coffee.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Another thing too is like, where do you see this industry headed in the next few years?
I think this industry is headed into. There's a lot more research being done within the cannabis industry in general. So I think it's definitely in its upcoming, and it's still very early on in the industry's infancy, you would say. And the biggest thing is regulations are going to start coming down the pipeline. It's going to be weeding out a lot of smaller businesses as well. I've seen this happen within the marijuana side of things in California and Arizona and a lot of these newer states that are coming out. And with the regulations continuously changing, it costs a lot of money to keep up to date with the packaging requirements that are on a consistent basis, the legal things that are changing on a consistent basis. And so people really need to kind of, I think, support smaller business within this so that pharmaceutical industries don't come in and start putting out random stuff that you can't truly trust, because sometimes they would prefer using an isolate route versus a full spectrum, when all the science is really pointing to full spectrum products are a lot more efficient in the human body. But being said, with THC having an illegal on a federal level, having that kind of controversy, it's not going to come out as a pharmaceutical grade for a while to be able to incorporate that.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Which industries do you see being most positively impacted by the legalization that should be coming up?
The biggest industry that's going to be impacted is going to be the pharmaceutical industry. I think it's good. They've had lobbyists against cannabis use for a long time because they know that you can use an alternative medicine that's naturally grown versus something that's made in a lab that you can make all this profit off of, when people could be technically growing it at their house. So I think that's a big fight that the pharmaceutical industry has been putting toward the cannabis industry, trying to fight the making it federally legal. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. And I mean, I'm sure they're already involved somehow. So I'm just curious to kind of see how everything plays out.
Oh, I got you. Because some industries too, I'm interested to see are like construction and the textile industry. Too.
Absolutely, the textile is going to be awesome with hemp fibers and everything. There's a lot of new research coming out with construction with like Hempcrete. I don't know if you have been following like sustainable resources and stuff. That's something that we've been looking at too, is changing even more sustainably packaging all of our products. We're looking at some hemp cardboard as well that's biodegradable. So it's pretty cool to see kind of all these new innovative products coming out that's using cannabis.
Yeah, even too, like you can make like hemp wood too. I know like usually the price of lumber is skyrocketed high.
Yeah.
I think hemp wood can combat that.
Yeah, and it's typically stronger, and you need a fraction of the amount of actual raw material to create that. So I think it's going to help out with a lot of things. But the lumber industry is a huge industry as well. So kind of going back, like kind of how the pharmaceutical industry is kind of fighting with it too. The lumber industry doesn't want hemp to take over, because you can eliminate a lot of that. Oh yeah,
because like the dream house would be house constructed entirely of hemp materials. So like all the concrete in the driveway made from hempcrete, then the house structures from hemp.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing, especially with like a lot of this hempcrete that's coming out that I've been looking at, that have been at some of these expos recently. it shows how efficient they are in terms of insulation, in terms of the safety of it, in terms of like electrical wise. So it's really cool to see what these companies are coming out with.
Yeah, I just saw a post recently that Henry Ford actually came up with a concept to make a car made out of hemp, and it was actually like performed much better than the steel type car. Like,
yeah, I've seen that, and it's completely run off of like hemp biofuel.
Yeah,
It's really cool to see that, and it's crazy too what wasn't really highlighted in the past, because obviously the winners write history, and so since cannabis didn't take off with that, nobody ever really talked about it until kind of more recently with the internet, as well as legalization happening left and right. People are realizing, hey, this plant has been around since the beginning of time, since the beginning anybody has even been here. The hemp plant has been here, so it's cool to see how much of an impact it's made in the past, as well as what it's going to do in the future.
I mean, in the past though, you've had like some of these industry giants who were threatened by it. They thought like, hey, this plant's gonna negatively affect our businesses. We have to do some smear campaigns against it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what's still going on today. We're coming out of a prohibition, and history repeats itself. It's same with alcohol, how it worked out. It was used as a medicine before. I think alcohol is toxic, but it's somehow legal, and a lot of people make mistakes and die from alcohol on a daily basis, but yet it's still legal, So it's kind of interesting to see how they classify specific drugs.
Well, actually, yeah, I think drunk driving is more dangerous than driving while high.
Yeah. I think that's statistically speaking too. That's a true fact.
No, yeah,
you can fact check that, whoever's watching.
Well, about too with how cigarettes have been out there for a long time too, and like their studies. I mean, we know the studies on cigarettes too.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous with that because of the fact that they allow all these other chemicals when it could just be tobacco leaf. It could be dry tobacco leaf. But the thing is, they have all these additional chemicals in here. And what's the craziest part, something that I saw actually the other day on, I think it was like Facebook or Instagram, that actually blew my mind. They got a Marlboro Red cigarette, and then they got a pre-rolled joint from a dispensary, and they went to the lab and got it tested for heavy metals, pesticides, all these typical panel tests that you would have in the marijuana industry. And the thing is, the joint passed everything. The Marlboro cigarette, though, it failed the majority of all tests. It had pesticides, it had heavy metals, it had all these other things in there that were bad for you, but it's still legal, And at the end of the day, you're looking at tobacco and you're looking at marijuana. They're plants, and they don't have the same standard for cigarettes as they would marijuana. I think there's a huge problem with that with the tobacco industry. But it's all money.
I think the one thing with like cannabis though too, they might allow, like there's some companies who might not give a shit about the testing and just allow that shit to get in, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, especially in the grayer state areas. And it was kind of like when the big thing, I guess it was in 2019 with the vaporizers, how all these people were getting these crazy lung diseases, or they were getting hospitalized because of vaporizers, cartridges. It's because they were buying them black market. They were buying shit that they were just throwing in there. Nobody knew who was actually making them, and then everybody starts getting sick. But if you go to a licensed dispensary that has all these specific protocols that they have in place in order to protect the client or the customer, then you should be good to go, because at the end of the day, it's a plant extract. So as long as it's not contaminated, you should be good.
Oh, yeah.
Know your source.
Oh, so another product I'm really looking forward to seeing too, made from hemp, is plastic.
Yeah, hemp plastic. This is huge right now. I have a buddy who owns a hemp pre-roll company, and all of his single pre-roll joints, 1 gram joints, come in biodegradable plastic, hemp plastic. It's pretty cool.
Because right now in the oceans, there's a lot of plastic in there. But just imagine that just became hemp plastic in there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely much better. It's good for the environment.
Yeah, it's better for sure.
Yeah, I'm sick here. Trying to think too. What other products would you like to? Which other products do you think could use something derived from hemp as well?
I think the fuel like how you were talking about, fuel is going to be huge when they start doing more research on that and see how they can apply that. And honestly, I'm just really excited for them to be doing more research. Research on how the endocannabinoid system works, how cannabinoids and terpenes interact with the human body. Those kind of things are the things that excite me, because it kind of scares me, the fact that we have doctors who don't know what the endocannabinoid system is, which is it's known that it's a huge vital role. It plays a huge vital role in our human body. And the fact that doctors don't take that into consideration when prescribing all these different pills and stuff, like, hey, how come we haven't been taught about this? And so the more research that comes out, I think that's education is going to be the biggest driver for this industry.
Oh yeah, they haven't even discovered all the cannabinoids yet.
Yeah, they're still discovering new ones. Also, not only cannabinoids, but cannabinoid receptors too. You know, right now most people only know about the two cannabinoid receptors, the CB1 and CB2. But now there's studies that are coming out saying that they have anywhere from 6 or 7 plus different cannabinoid receptors. You know, so it's really interesting to see. I know the main two, obviously, a lot of people know about it, and it's great when those people do know about it. But it's just crazy how much more we can learn. So it's going to be an exciting time within the next few years to see what comes out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like it's interesting too. You pointed out how some doctors don't know about the endocannabinoid system. I mean, there's a whole thing too. I mean, in med schools they're not always taught everything about the human body. I mean, there's a whole that's a whole nother debate though.
Whoever writes the curriculum.
Yeah, because I know, because that's why, because in medical schools, like they're taught about the pharmaceuticals, they're not taught about the natural stuff as well. They only know about they're only taught about pharmaceuticals, you know.
Mm-hmm. They're the ones paying for a lot of it, a lot of these studies and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah. So you did mention too. So your main clientele are like doctors and athletes.
Yeah, doctors, athletes. Really, any active adult, those are going to be our main customer focus, because we are a recovery-based company. Not saying that it's limited. We have clients that are 18. We have clients that are like, I think our oldest one that I talk to on a consistent basis is like 93 years old. You know, so really, whoever can benefit from it. Our target audience is though more the athlete and the active recovery person.
Oh wow! And do you have any advice you would give to somebody who's thinking about entering the cannabis space?
Yeah, definitely come in with tough skin and put out, like I said earlier in this conversation, put out a product that you truly believe in. Don't put out something just to get it out there. Be confident in the product. Make sure that you're taking it yourself, and think about a product that you would actually give your family. So that's something that I would definitely give advice to. Just make sure that you believe in yourself.
Oh, got it. And what's the best way somebody can get hold of your business?
If somebody wanted to touch base with us, you can connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, pretty much every single social media, including TikTok, and it would be TerpNutrition, TRP Nutrition. And that's usually the quickest way to get in touch with us. We have even a phone number on our website for if you wanted to give us a call. We're always here to answer questions. We love being able to be a resource for everybody.
Oh, awesome. It was great having you on. And if you want to announce anything new with your business, you're more than welcome to be on again.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I mentioned a little bit earlier today too, we released about 2 months ago our new vegan fruit snack. So we're super pumped up for that. Very minimal added sugar inside of it as well. So, and they're terpene infused as well. So there's a lot of benefits. People have been raving about them. Great for like inflammation and sleep. So if you have any questions, let us know.
Yes, sounds good. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
No problem.